What's going on, HANGOUT gang? Gonna wait a few minutes and give people some time to come in before we get started. I do realize, and I apologize for last night's show. Apparently, my broadcasting software did some upgrades when my daughter was playing on my computer, and it turned my mic off. So yeah, I apologize about that. So we'll wait a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Give people some time to come in here, okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, there's been a ton of fallout that has occurred from the FTX Alameda fiasco insolvency. And a lot of coins that are associated with Alameda and FTX, as you can see, have a heavy loss. Sol is down 60%. Alameda and FTX was heavily invested into Sol, and as you can see, the repercussions across the market. There's other reasons why the market is dumping as well, further as well. We'll get into that into the video as we get into this live. The updates from the FTX situation is constantly being updated. More information is being brought forth and is coming out, and it's going to have reverberations effects across not only the markets, but I think across the political spectrum as well. Okay, so all I'm doing is presenting what I have found in looking into FTX, bankman-fried, Alameda, and the connections to the Democratic Party. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to take a look at some of the charts. And at first, yesterday, the CPI, well, was it Thursday? The CPI numbers came out, and it wasn't as bad, and that caused the dollar currency index to dump. Okay, and so that's what you see right here. You see that dump right here occurring, right? So this is Thursday the 10th. That CPI numbers came out early that morning at 8:30, and then the dump commenced to happen, and you see the sell-off of the dollar, right? Now, in return, what that sell-off did was pump up the stock market and the crypto markets as a whole. Okay, because as the dollar rises, the stock market and the cryptocurrency markets and the precious metal markets fall. Okay, strong dollar, it makes a weak market. Weak dollar makes strong market. So proof of that is here. As you can see, this is the stock market right here, the S&P 500 E-mini futures. It coincides directly with the dip. Thursday, November 10th, you had the sell-off, and then you go down here to the ESO1. Thursday, November 10th, you had the run up in the stock market, and you had the run up also in Bitcoin right here. Same thing. That is the correlation. If you have been paying attention to any of the technical analysis videos that we produce here on the channel, or any of the other videos, then you know that we are a firm believer that the stock market and the Bitcoin cryptocurrency markets follow the S&P, go hand in hand. Okay. Now, as you can see, last night in the video that audio was messed up in, I told you guys that Bitcoin was going to be chopping, and that's exactly what you're seeing doing. It's going to chop today, it's going to chop sometime tomorrow, and it's going to make a move Sunday night or Monday morning, okay? And in my opinion, which is not financial advice, it's going to make a move to the downward side, right? And one of the things that I have been noticing on the charts is down here on the RSI, whenever the RSI is below 30, then you have a run up, right? So you have it right here. The 30 mark is right here, exactly right here. And look below it. What do you have? Run up. That's one. You go back to here. 2, 3, 4. All right. So RSI is not above that. That's just some of my traders, a little technique or something like that that you could use to help you kind of take a trade or bypass a trade. Just something to add to your arsenal. All right. So Bitcoin is currently sitting at $16,864. There's going to be some more things that are going to unfold during this week. In my opinion, it's going to cause Bitcoin to fall below this mark and down towards those price targets that I have continuously been telling you guys for months of 7,000 of a Bitcoin bottom between 7K and 15K, and Ethereum bottom between $408 and $450, and XRP bottom of 21 cents. Now my gauge is the XRP. XRP needs to hit 21 cents, and once that hits, then that triggers the bottom market for me. And we have done the numbers previously, and the XRP needs to fall, I think, a total of, if I remember correctly, like 49%, 48% to hit those target numbers. So that's where we get this right here, 42% from what it was that day. It was 42% to hit the target numbers of what we were saying of under 15K. Okay, so that's where we're getting that from. Now, another thing. This is the altcoin market, right? Altcoin market cap. As you can see, it's taking a hit. You see all this red over here. You saw all this red on the crypto bubbles, right? Red. It's taking a hit. It's taking a hit because of the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance chart. Okay, when Bitcoin dominance runs up, which means money is flowing into Bitcoin, not out of Bitcoin into altcoins. So money is flowing out of the altcoins into Bitcoin, and therefore the altcoin chart is falling. You see altcoins bleed. Okay, now when the Bitcoin dominance fall, you see altcoins pump. So keep this in mind. All right, keep this in mind. Now, before we go on, just wanted to give a plug out. We do have a podcast, the Sunday Night Hangout. You can catch us on Spotify, Amazon, and any other podcasting platforms that you receive your podcast on. And we have the second podcast, the Metaspot podcast, which covers nothing but metaverse, NFT related content. Okay. Now, on to the meat and potatoes of the show, what everybody calls. So today, not today, but on yesterday, Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried finally told the world that he filed for bankruptcy. Okay, and he wrote a long thread that I'm going to read to you guys today, and we're going to go over it so you can see exactly how much of a bullshitter and fraud this person is. Okay, he's a con artist. Now, he starts off, says, "Hi all, today I filed for FTX, FTX US, and Alameda for voluntary Chapter 11 proceedings in the US. I am really sorry." He's really sorry, y'all. He's really sorry that he lied. He's sorry that he used customer funds to invest into other Web3 startup projects. He's sorry, so we should just forgive him because he's sorry. Again, that we ended up here. Hopefully things we can find out. Hopefully things can find a way to recover. Hopefully this can bring some amount of transparency, trust, and governance to them. Ultimately, hopefully it can be better for customers. This doesn't necessarily have to mean the end for the companies or their ability to provide value and funds to their customers chiefly, and can be consistent with other routes. Ultimately, I'm optimistic that Mr. Ray and others can help provide whatever is best. No, man, I don't think anybody's going to be messing with FTX anytime in the near future, anytime in the currently. FTX is done, man. They're done. Especially with the more information that's coming out of how you guys handle it, and you guys had no board structure, no board of directors. It was just a bunch of kids in the Bahamas that was running it, and so we're going to get into some more information here. So stay tuned, all right? Because you guys are going to see the connection and how deep this thing goes, and why this is going to have reverberating effects across the political sphere and other markets. I'm going to work on giving clarity on things in terms of user recovery ASAP. I'm piecing together all of the details, but I was shocked to see things unravel the way they did earlier this week. I will soon write up a more complete post on the play-by-play, but I want to make sure that I get it right when I do. So, I want to show you this guy right here.
Sure, if people
listen to what he says right here. Right? listen to what was going on. This whole time, this piece of shit here was sitting here apologizing, writing these threads and this and that right there. This right here took place in the past, an interview with this guy, okay, and he knew what was going on.
Repay the loans back to FTX. Is that how you guys see this?
Damn ass.
Hand it over. Now, how does that make you feel?
Like
Apologize for that, y'all.
Eric, I'm going to look
quite.
at okay.
Yeah, I don't think the issue was that they lent out their own FTT token. The issue was that they lent out customer deposits to Alameda, and Alameda provided FTT token back to FTX as collateral. So it was an issue of rehypothecating customer money, not telling them they were doing that, and then just blatantly lying and saying that.
So you see what they were doing? They were rehypothecating customers' money, not telling them they were doing that, and then just lying to the public about their holdings.
They weren't doing that for the preceding months.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if they just stopped at the Alameda thing and the blow up, that may have actually been recoverable. And like the downstream concept, if you like shut it off at Alameda, that's sort of you unwind a bunch of bad debt. But as soon as they touch those customer funds to try to,
that's fraud. That is fraud. 100% fraud. No way around it. He needs to go to jail. But he has friends in high places, and you'll see what I mean as the show goes along.
prop this whole thing up. That's where you jump into fraud. That's when you jump into criminal issues. That's where you jump into. That's a whole new world. And then you have this blow up. And the downstream losers ultimately are the users, unfortunately.
And he was saying even like one day before the collapse, everything is fine. Customer money is fine. FTX is fine. That's clear fraud, right? I mean that.
Very much so. Clearly fraud.
So
no way around it. No way around it. It's fraud. Remember, what did I just show you? This right here. He's sorry. Bullshit. This is bullshit. Okay. Now, Lucas Nuzzi, right? Follow Lucas Nuzzi and shout out to Lucas Nuzzi. He says that he found evidence that FTX might have provided a massive bailout for Alameda in the second quarter, which now came back to haunt them. 40 days ago, which would probably be about 44 days ago, 173 million FTT tokens worth over 4 billion USD became active on chain, and that's when the rabbit hole appeared. Okay. It says that day, September the 28th, over 8.6 billion USD worth of FTT was moved on chain. That was by far the largest daily move of FTT in the token's existence, one of the largest ERC20 daily moves we ever recorded in coin metrics, right? So this was the beginning of the discovery, okay? The beginning. I went through all transfers that happened that day using CM Atlas and ranked them. I found a peculiar transaction that interacted with the contract from the FTT ICO. In 2019, contract automatically released 173 million FTT from the token's ICO. The recipient of the 4.19 billion USD worth of FTT tokens was no one other than Alameda Research. So what, right? Alameda and FTX were intrinsically connected from day one, and Alameda obviously participated in the in the ICO, right? So then Alameda sent the entire balance sheet to the address of the deployer of the FTT ERC20, which was controlled by someone at FTX. So in other words, Alameda auto-vested for just over $4 billion worth of FTT just to send it back to FTT immediately, right? And then this is what he says he think what happened. Alameda blew up in the second quarter along with Three Arrows Capitals and others. It not only survived because it was able to secure the funding from FTX using the collateral of the 172 FTT that was guaranteed to vest 4 months later, right? So once vested, all tokens were sent back as repayment. And remember that the FTT ICO contract vests automatically. Had FTX let Alameda implode in May, the colleagues would have ensured the subsequent liquidation of all FTT tokens vested in September. It would have been terrible for FTX, so they had to find a way to avoid that. And that's kind of when CZ put out that tweet. And then the CEO of Alameda said, we'll happily buy them at $22. And then that's when people were like, hey, well, if it goes below $22, does like is that a bad thing or something? And you started having the run on FTX and FTT, right? People trying to sell. Okay, now this right here is interesting. They like to call all these young adults geniuses and etc. They go to MIT and etc. But it's all one big circle that circles all around. Okay, right? Now this is your CEO for Alameda right here. This is your CEO, Miss Ellison. Now listen to her. Listen to what they say. So they ask her a question about risk and about stop losses and etc. and how they manage risk. Listen to her answer.
Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of like elementary school math. Being comfortable with risk is very important. We tend not to have things like stop losses. I think those.
We tend to not have things like stop losses. Every trader knows that you must have a stop loss put in place. Every trader. These are the people that they call, the next J.P. Morgan, the next great investor, VCs, etc.
Aren't necessarily a great risk management tool. Trying to think of a good example of a trade where I've lost a ton of money.
Yeah, you know one right off the top of your head. You ain't got to think long and hard, but go ahead and play it off for everybody.
Well, I don't know. I probably don't want to go into specifics too much with that.
Yeah, I know you don't want to go into specifics too much of that. $4 billion worth. I wouldn't want to go into specifics of that either. So, shout out to the creator of that video, Crypto Bitcoin Chris, all right, for putting that on Twitter. Now, Blockworks, okay? Blockworks. They say 134 of FTX firms filed for bankruptcy. 134. This is another reason why the crypto markets are tanking right now. Okay. Now, I have been constantly telling people that those price targets would hit and that they would come. Just be patient. Just be patient. Okay. And now they're coming. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. And those that know will take advantage of this. Okay. But they going down here and tweeted a whole entire thread of all these companies that were tied to Alameda Research and the woman that you just seen on this video, Miss Ellison, right? So, Alameda, Austria, PTY, Alameda Global Services, Alameda Research, Alameda Holdings, etc., BitPesa, BT Payment Services, Blue Ridge, Blockfolio, and I use the Blockfolio app to track different cryptocurrencies. Cardinal Ventures, Cedar Bay, Clifton Bay Investments, CM Equity, Cornerstone Staffing, Cornerwood Grove, Cottonwood Technologies, Crypto Bahamas, Deck Technologies, Deep Creek, Digital Custody, okay, FTX EMA, FTX Equity Record Holdings, FTX Hong Kong. These are all companies that are associated with Alameda, that all companies that if you are invested in, you might need to do a deep dive in and do reconsideration. Okay. Now, Mr. Deaton, the people's lawyer, he's the people's lawyer that's representing the people in the XRP versus the SEC lawsuit. He tweeted this yesterday about Charles Gasparino. It says, Gary Gensler's old boss at MIT is the father of Alameda CEO Caroline Ellison. The GC of FTX official used to be the lead counsel of Gensler when he was CFTC chair. Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX's mom was Hillary Clinton's lawyer and a Democratic operative. I told y'all people, it's get deep right here. It gets deep. It gets deep. Now we understand why he was able to get all this funding overnight and FTX was able to blow up and come out of nowhere, right? Right? They were touting him as the next Warren Buffett, him as the next J.P. Morgan Chase, the next young, brightest mind coming up in the crypto world. He's going to change the crypto world, etc. Right? Sam Bankman-Fried was the number 2 Democratic donor, and he is.
There's some interesting connections between the current SEC chief, Gary Gensler, and Mr. Bankman-Fried, who just resigned from FTX, and there's a huge investigation going on about FTX and why it imploded, and did it commingle funds with its with a sister company called Alameda, which is essentially a hedge fund run by or a family office run by Mr. Bankman-Fried. So this is going to be interesting as we untangle this. There's an MF Global component of this as well, because people have their money in FTX. It's hard to get your money out when you declare bankruptcy.
Exactly. So all those people just lost all their money, man.
Washington will, from what I understand, will focus on Gary Gensler and FTX. And here's what we do know. There was a March meeting.
What do we know? Tell us.
And FTX. And Brad Katsuyama of the IEX exchange talking essentially about industry issues.
Wait a minute. He said there was a large meeting with FTX, right? And the SEC. Hold on. I got something for that. Hold on just a second. Let's see here. What does that say right there? Huh? Including the unique risk associated with custody of digital asset securities and conditional no action relief discussed in the statement. So, rumor has it that Mr. Gensler was kind of helping Mr. Bankman-Fried curtail regulations and find loopholes for his FTT token and his FTX exchange. That's what the bird's been saying. Just a rumor floating around. I'm sure people are digging into that. Right? Let's let him finish, Mr. Gasparino.
That occurred in March. That's according to Gary Gensler's public calendar. We don't have his public calendars after June, so we don't know if he met with him again. But essentially, Republicans in the House Financial Services Committee are raising that question. What did Gary Gensler know? What type of relationship did he have with Mr. Bankman-Fried, who is, by the way, a huge Democratic contributor? And
Number 2 donor.
Republicans retain control.
Don't forget.
Still in as of right now. There's going to be hearings on this.
He said something real, I don't think y'all heard that real quick. This is real vital right here. You know, if you wasn't paying attention, you can miss it real quick.
Still in as of right now. There's going to be hearings on this, I understand. It could get pretty dicey for Mr. Gensler. What's interesting also is some of the connections between FTX and MIT, the place that Gary Gensler worked in the past before he came to the Securities Exchange Commission and after he left the Obama administration as its head of its CFTC. He worked as a distinguished professor at MIT, and he was part of MIT's crypto lab. And again, Mr. Bankman-Fried has some connections with them. That's his alma mater, MIT. So people are starting.
So we established he has a connection with Gary Gensler through MIT, right? So now we need to establish the connection to the Democratic Party and the Democratic Political Action Committees, right? So stay tuned, because it's coming, I'm telling you. Stay tuned. I know y'all want to get to it. Stay tuned. We got some more information we got to uncover real quick. Some more stuff we got to go over. All right. Shout out to Duo9. Follow him on Twitter. All right. Duo9 says, for those confused about FTX and FTT, here's the TLDR. FTX prints FTT out of thin air. FTX lends FTT to Alameda Research. Alameda Research borrows USD against that FTT. And Alameda Research sends USD stables to FTX. Repeat infinite money. So it's the same thing that's going on in the traditional banking system that they were doing, okay? They were trying to do fractional banking and traditional banking finance and bring it into the crypto. It didn't work. And he gives an illustration right here. They create a token, pump the price, the market gains to the balance sheet, and show the market gains to the investors, raise cash through equity sales or loans, and then pump the token again, create another one, and the cycle keeps going over and over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? That was the Ponzi scheme. That is what they orchestrated. Now, Satoshi Stacker, right? This just came up. Within the last hour and 30 minutes. Says this is nuts. Alameda Research was trying to get funding by pitching 15% risk-free loans with no downside. More funds are coming out and exposing Alameda and Sam. People obviously knew these things but were afraid to speak up because Team Sam Bankman-Fried destroys enemies. So what is this right here? Make it bigger. It says investment offerings. It says these loans have no downside. Well, how can they have no downside? Well, when you're the one setting it up, you're the one that's creating all this stuff, then yeah, of course, it has no downside. We guarantee full payment, the principal and interest, enforceable under U.S. law. That's funny. And established by all parties, legal counsel. Right? There's a proof of that. It's crazy. He also goes on and says that there was a hacking, actually. They just got hacked probably about 4 hours ago. At 8 o'clock, FTX got hacked, which is kind of suspicious because this exchange has been secure. You haven't heard any type of anything going on, any funny business going on when it comes to that with FTX exchange. Now all of a sudden, all the stuff comes out. Now all of a sudden, it gets hacked, right? So it says here, Kraken Exchange has identified the FTX hacker, and this is what the CEO of Kraken says: "We know the identity of the user." So it's going to be interesting to see who the user is, because it also came out today that Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried had a backdoor to funds on the FTX channel. Not only did he have a backdoor, the backdoor could literally let him siphon funds without it being discovered. So it was going under the radar. This just came out today as well. He's a all-the-way fraud, man. And then just an hour and 7 minutes ago, shout out to Lark Davis, follow Lark at the Crypto Lark on Twitter. He just came out and said that the FTX hacker is currently dumping millions in altcoins like Link and Matic. So that is also why you see this going on here. And that is also why you're going to see my price targets that I just named out earlier in the stream. Okay? So they're dumping it, and they're causing the crash. All this stuff is coordinated, man. They manipulated the market for months, manipulated to try to shake you out of the market. And this is just also one of the processes. Not only was it fraud, but it also was one of the processes. This came out, it crashed the market even further after already being crashed 80%. And now people don't want to be involved in crypto anymore. They want to sell everything that they have and just be done with it and just jump into the most possible worst, investment, which is fiat. So I'm telling you, hold the line, hold still, do not shake. Okay, do not shake. It will get greater, and it will get greater faster than what you believe. Everybody that's talking about, we're going to have this recession, or crypto recession, bear market, etc., for all these till 2023, 2024, etc. No, we're not. It's going to go back up faster than what you believe. All this is artificially created. Okay, so if it's artificially created, that means it's going to pump. Just like just like turning on the light switch. If you could artificially create a crash, then you could artificially create a pump. And once you take away all the parameters of the artificially creation and let it be natural, then it shoots up. Just like a ball on the water, just like when you're pressing a basketball in the water and you let it go, it shoots up through that water. All right. Now, shout out to Prophet Max. Follow him on Twitter. This is what he also says. He says, one of Ukraine. Well, this is the first thing, because I had posted this earlier. As you can see, we posted this right here earlier in the day. We said, interesting, right? We say right here, 33 billion support for Ukraine. Ukraine partners with FTX for to launch the crypto donations, because we questioned where the funds were going and if they are being funneled from the FTX exchange to the Democratic Party through donations from SBF or Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, and we're going to get into some more things, because it's going to be, you're going to see it's going to be a family affair. You're going to see, all right, and we're getting close to it. Okay, so Kraken knows the identity of the hacker. All right, the hacker is dumping Link and Matic and other altcoins. All right, you have breaking news: Ukraine military aid from U.S. was invested in crypto FTX by Ukraine, which I already told you guys earlier, which was money laundering. If you didn't know, Ukraine is the top money laundering hub in the world. Go look it up. Go Google it. There's numerous articles about it. It always has been. Okay, even before the the regime change during Obama's presidency in Ukraine, it was a money laundering hub. All right, this is a well-known fact for anybody that's in finance, a well-known fact to anybody that pays attention to the news and world events. All right, so then he also posted, this was from August. One of Ukraine's nonprofit war funds has spent 54 million of its crypto donations on military hardware as the country enters its 25th week in Russia. Right, says the donations have been made through the nonprofit Aid for Ukraine, which is operated by Ukraine's Ministry of Digital Transformation. The crypto payment rails are being facilitated by crypto exchange FTX. Come on, y'all. I ain't the smartest, person in the room, but I know how to connect the dots. Okay, I have discernment, and I know how to see things. See how if the dots are starting to connect one by one, chances are you're on the right track. Chances are that where there's smoke, there's fire. Right? Now, this right here I found was crazy as hell. All right. Now you have quote unquote a billionaire, right? And this is like the second tweet I've heard of this about him doing certain types of drugs, right? So let's just look at this. Check this out. It says stimulants were highly advised to be used by new hires for a long time. Sam, referencing Sam Bankman-Fried, would literally give an orientation on stimulants and would describe which would do that. He told them to give them all a try and see what works best and what they felt most productive on. Sam used a patch for designer stimulants that mainlined them into his blood to give him a constant buzz all the time. So he didn't want to. He didn't want to come down. All right, he didn't want to come down. I'm from the inner city and I've seen crackheads and meth heads and etc. But they come down at some point. They don't want that buzz all the time. But those listening, my viewers, comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think about this right here. Right? Now you could say this is all a lie. This is all rumors. Ain't no way that somebody that was worth $16 billion with a B at that time would be on any type of stimulants, etc. All right. I hear you. I hear you, man. You know what I'm saying? But see, me, growing up in the inner city and seeing dentists and doctors that were crackheads, etc., I don't put nothing past anybody. So this is Caroline. Remember, Caroline, she runs. What does she run again? Oh, yeah, that's right. She runs Alameda Research. Yeah, that's right. That's what she runs. Nothing like a regular amphetamine used to make you appreciate how dumb a lot of normal and non-medicated human experience is. April 5th, 2021. Here we have the crypto king himself. Stimulants when you wake up, sleeping pills if you need them when you sleep. Be mindful of where your headspace is. I often nap in the office so that my mind doesn't have to leave work mode in between shifts. Interesting. This is the guy that was going to save crypto right here. This is the guy that was trying to bring regulations to the United States of America to benefit his FTX company. That's how this whole thing started. CZ of Binance responded to a tweet, and Sam Bankman-Fried said something about spreading rumors, and like CZ said, you went behind our backs and are using lobbying money to bring forth crypto regulation, harmful crypto regulation towards Binance. You're trying to push Binance out of Western markets. And that's how it all started. And then now we are here. Down the rabbit hole. Right? So, Mr. Deaton, Johnny Deaton, the people's lawyer again. And I agree with him. He says release all the notes, emails, and communications between the SEC governor, Sam Bankman-Fried, and FTX, including all communications with his members of his family. Restore confidence in the markets or step down. Why would we want to get communications of Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried's family members? Why would we want to do that? Remember earlier in the show, his mother is a Democratic operative. His mother was Hillary Clinton's lawyer. So, that leads me to believe to Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried's mother. Right? Who is she? What does she do? So you know, as the parents go, as train them up as they shall go, and they shall all depart, right? What type of household was he raised in? Type of ideology? Barbara Fried, Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried's mother, right? And the thing that sticks out to me the most is, okay, she was, professor in Stanford, etc. But down here it says she is a co-founder of the political fundraising organization Mind the Gap, which advocates for progressive political candidates and funds. What does it say? Funds get out the vote groups. Okay, because there's so much voter suppression. And that's a joke, y'all. Right? Now, that's Miss Barbara Fried. Let's see here. What am I looking for? Mind the Gap. What is Mind the Gap, right? We just established that she funded and started Mind the Gap, which was a PAC, Political Action Committee, fundraising committee. Says here, Mind the Gap is a left-wing super PAC. So it ain't a regular political action committee. It's a super political action committee dedicated to helping Democratic political candidates win elections. The PAC earns millions of dollars in donations, primarily from Silicon Valley executives who are keen on quietly funneling massive political donations into the Democratic Party. So, at face glance, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But quietly funneling? Why do you have to be quietly? Isn't all election finance, isn't it all supposed to be public? The mission of MTG, Mind the Gap, is to empower private political donors to strengthen our democracy by providing them with evidence-based guidance on the electoral strategies, tactics, and programs that are likely to achieve the greatest impact in a given election. So, interesting. So, what groups is Mind the Gap aligned with? The main one, Antifa. Yeah, y'all heard that right. Antifa. Sounds scary when you say it right, don't it? Let me say it again. Antifa. Black Lives Matter, immigrant movement, refugee movements, work with prisoners, etc. Right? So these are all the things that they are involved in. Right? So, what else have Mr. Bankman-Fried been involved in? He has donated $5 million to Future Forward, which supported President Joe Biden's presidential campaign. Right? So all the tech leaders, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, Sam Bankman-Fried, all of them, this is what they did. Right? No harm, no foul. None of that. Now, we're gonna get into some of these articles because I hope the dots are connecting for y'all. I really do. All this is allegedly, all right, but too many coincidences to me equals a fact. So we have here Sam Bankman-Fried's implosion took down the Democratic second biggest donor, with it as the party gears up to regulate crypto. Right? And it's interesting enough that they still want to use this man's crypto regulations bill to regulate crypto, which would be all bad for us. All bad for us. Sam Bankman-Fried backed political action committee spends $9 million funding congressional Democrats. Quote, congressional candidates. But we already know he was the number 2 largest Democratic donor. Right? Sam Bankman-Fried just short of $960 million. What he later came back to say was a dumb donation pledge as the midterm looms, because he said he was going to give $1 billion to Democrats. Interesting. Inside Sam Bankman-Fried's $12 million long shot. So what was his long shot? Right? Despite airdropping a historic sum into a congressional race in Oregon, what was he thinking? Maybe he's trying to buy Congress members. Maybe he's doing what he's told. Who knows? But one thing's for sure is that without Sam Bankman-Fried, Democratic Party could not pull record fundraising just in time for the midterm elections. So not only did he save crypto, he saved Democratic fundraising. Well, he's a savior, ain't he? So, said that Republicans outspend Democrats in the 2022 midterms election. Interesting. Which I doubt that to be a fact. And this is the double talk. Right here you have this, but then you have this right here. Congressional fundraising climate favors the Democrats. Democratic Senate campaign fundraising outpaces GOP for 4th straight month. All thanks to Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried has been a significant donor in the United States midterm elections. Right? Embattled cryptocurrency founder spent $40 million on midterms. Now, the next thing I wanted to bring to your attention was this right here. Right? Ukraine partnership with FTX to launch donations website for cryptocurrency. Now, given Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried's morals and past, and his love for the Democratic Party, and the fact that he has no problem in using customer funds to invest and to donate, it'd be too far-fetched to say that some of this money was funneled back into the Democratic Party and used as donations. Or through donations. We sent $33 billion. $33 billion, right? $33 billion with a B was sent to Ukraine on top of donations to a fraud organization that has ties to the Democratic Party, that has ties to the SEC and Mr. Gary Gensler. Not just any ties, close relationship ties. So we sent $33 billion, and yet there's no oversight. The fiscal watchdogs are crying and saying that we need oversight when it comes to the money that's being sent to Ukraine. Is it far-fetched to say that some of this money has been funneled back through donations to FTX back to the Democratic Party? I don't think so. And I'm here to say no. This is my opinion. This is allegedly. And we'll just have to sit back and wait and see if this is indeed a fact and if it all comes out. Right? But we know for sure. We know for sure. We know for sure. Well, we know for sure. Let me see. Where's it? Where's it? Where did it go? Where did it go? There it go. We know for sure 54 million and FTX exchange and non-profit aid for Ukraine. I'm just saying. Talk to me now, people. Am I on the right track? Am I on the right track? Is it all a coincidence? Is there nothing there? Or is it smoke? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know if there's smoke. I'm just saying. Now, there are some good things that are going to come from this. We do need regulations. I don't think we need them heavy-handed. I think they need to be tailor-made specifically for the crypto industry. But we do need the regulations. They do need to come. We need to have them. And the next thing is that we need to, these type of people need to see jail time. There needs to be some type of justice. There needs to be restitution, and investors and retail investors need to be made whole. Okay, it's not up for debate. It's not an opinion. It's this needs to be a fact, and it needs to be etched in stone. These people need to see jail time. All of them. All of those are involved in this FTX, from Gary Gensler all the way to Miss Ellison and Mr. Bankman-Fried. Okay. Now, there was some more, I think, as you can see. Wanted to show you. Miss Genevieve did it here on Twitter. So this is what she had to say about the board of Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. It says no investors joined FTX board of directors, which was made up of Mr. Bankman-Fried, an FTX employee, and a single lawyer. An advisory board of investors had no functional control over the company. So it had no business structure whatsoever. None whatsoever. And this is the icing on the cake. FTX is a part of the WEF, the World Economic Forum. Okay? Go back and watch our video on the World Economic Forum and why they are bad and how they are trying to corner and control the entire financial markets. Right? Go back and watch that. Okay? Go check that out. Now, before I head out, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Solana. Okay? Solana was heavily backed by FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. So they are taking a heavy hit. Okay? They dropped down from $36, $37 down to $13. Now, Solana is still a good investment because Solana has the second most developers, only behind Ethereum. It has a thriving NFT market with Magic Eden and a few other places, NFT marketplaces. It has a lot of building and development that is going on there. They came out with their phone that partnered with T-Mobile. So this might be actually a good buy, a good risk play to get into. Now it will fall even more as more news comes out and more things happen with the Alameda and the FTX FTT fiasco. So be diligent, be mindful. But this was something that I am taking a look into. Okay. And the only reason why the price is falling because it is suffering from direct association with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and Alameda. Okay, so there's a lot, as there was a lot of Solana that was locked up on FTX. Well, let me take that back. Being that there was a lot of Solana that was locked up on FTX, and FTX has since halted withdrawals. I can see Solana's price rising, pretty good when all this settles down. For the simple fact that it's going to take at least 4 to 5 years before that money gets unlocked and those people get compensated from those wallets. I.e., example, Mt. Gox. Okay, the Mt. Gox. They just started getting their funds back, or funds released to be sent back to the current owners of those Bitcoin funds from way back to that was 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So yeah. So this is Crypto Crane. We will not be doing a Sunday night hangout tomorrow because we did this live stream today. So we will see you next Sunday for the Sunday night hangout. We'll have a good show for you guys. We're working on something about Circle and how they are trying to corner the market. So till next week, next Sunday, we'll see you again, and to the next